Guys, have you ever wondered what the American dream looks like when you were over 60? I did. I'm 68. And although I'm set for the rest of my life, or at least so I think so, the things that I worry about are finances. And the one number that concerns most of seniors, it's the financial strain, the relentless rise in the cost of living, and the doom of inflation we are all experiencing today is super disheartening. Do you agree? Right now, we need a call of action. Guys, we need a intervention at all levels of government, our faith-based communities, our corporate partners. Now, one shocking fact is in 1990s, only 11% of homeless single adults were 50 years or older. Now that number has surged to 38%. How is this possible? This is the harsh truth we're going to address in this video, where alarming numbers of seniors are finding themselves every single day in America. Guys, hear their stories. Mainstream television now depicts seniors in homeless camps on popular TV series. But here in America, we just simply turn a blind eye. Housing costs, in particular, have skyrocketed in many parts of the country, and it's increasingly challenging for older adults with fixed incomes of retirement to make it. Now, this makes it really hard for low income seniors to afford safe and comfortable housing. Now, I know you've heard on the news and on my channel about children coming back to live with their parents. Well, this is actually happening to me with my college educated daughter and now my grandson. Now, we have parents being kicked out of their house for non payment, and we're finding them living with their children more often. The Department of Housing and Urban Development highlighted this startling fact. Older adults constitute the fastest growing segment of the country's homeless population. How? The surge in elderly homelessness is reminiscent of the Great Depression that we had. How is this that we're repeating history and we didn't learn from our mistakes? Well, guys, the answer is alarming. 57 million Americans are employed by companies that don't provide any retirement savings plans. Now, this leaves our seniors to a point of homelessness when they hit retirement ages. They simply don't have the money. Gone are the days of retiring with a company that you worked for 30 years and living your best life in retirement. Now, that died with our parents' generation. Well, guys, my name is Mark. Welcome to Retirement for Seniors. Now, today we're going to review alarming trends as the workforce is aging. Guys, seniors are finding themselves in homeless camps or living with a family member after working their whole lives. Guys, the American dream, sadly, is now America's shame. Seniors are the fastest growing segment of the homeless population. Guys, the television industry has already noticed and started to produce countless shows depicting the tragedy. Guys, these are shows like Station 19, Grey's Anatomy, 911. Homeless seniors are increasingly relying on emergency rooms for basic medical care. The financial strain of this, managing the healthcare needs, can quickly deplete the savings in a smaller retirement account and push seniors well past the point of breaking into debt. Chronic health conditions and disabilities and age discrimination, guys, it can make it difficult or impossible for seniors to find employment. I have a great video on this where a guy sent out 200 applications at 60 and he never got one response. Just sad. Well, this leaves them vulnerable. Now, In my last job, I worked with an 80 and a 90-year-old female employee. Now, you ask, why are they still working at this age? Well, the 80-year-old said, I didn't understand how to save for retirement. Nobody taught me when I was younger. The other woman said, I thought Social Security would protect us. My parents told me how bad it was, but you need to understand they're literally working until they get sick and they pass away. Now, healthcare expenses present another significant burden for our seniors and people as they age. They're more likely to experience chronic health conditions requiring ongoing medical care. Now, while Medicare provides essentially coverage for about 80% of the seniors, it doesn't cover all medical expenses. Now, leaving many to grapple with the high out of pocket costs that quickly takes down any savings that they have. Yet, some continue to live into their 80s or 90s, and they are doing without the basics because Social Security simply is not enough. The rising costs of everyday goods and services further exacerbate the financial challenges faced by many seniors today. Groceries, transportation, and utilities have all seen significant price increases in the last several years, making it difficult for those with fixed incomes to make ends meet. Well, guys, there is no longer a comfortable retirement for many. Income can easily become insufficient in the face of our current inflation levels. Maybe you and me don't feel this financial pinch except at the gas station or the grocery store. But largest growing group of individuals in America is dealing with the struggles every single day. Now, guys, this is a perfect storm of economic factors. Now, stagnant wages, rising housing costs, increase in healthcare expenses, and simply the cost of living has created bleak reality for many, not just our seniors, guys. This impacts our veterans, our single mothers, our single fathers who have to quit work and take care of the children. Guys, the promise of a comfortable retirement earning throughout the years of hard work and dedication, well, it seems to increasingly be elusive as people struggle to maintain their financial stability, their independence, and their pride of self worth. It's a disturbing trend, guys, and it's emerging in the shadows of American prosperity. A surge in homelessness among our late 50s, our seniors, our 60s, and sometimes into our 80s. They call this effect called the silver tsunami. Isn't that horrible that they had to come up with a name? A silver tsunami, as many experts have dubbed it. It's a stark reminder of the economic vulnerabilities facing a quickly growing segment of the population, our seniors. Full disclosure, as of this, both my wife and I have started our retirement. Now, neither one of us retired when we thought we would, me for health reasons, and my wife because literally her medical practice closed. So I'm right here with you guys, the same fears and the hopes that we all have at this stage in our life. Once a rare occurrence, seeing elderly individuals on the streets or in our workplace is becoming increasingly commonplace in cities and towns across America. Finding our seniors walking or working at the grocery store in the checkout lane or at the doctor's office scheduling you for another appointment. Guys, you see them, but do you really see them? Multiple factors contribute to this alarming trend and the rising cost of housing. And that with stagnant incomes, inadequate retirement savings, has left many seniors to struggle to keep a roof over their heads. Well, what's happened is actually 146 nursing homes or assisted living facilities has closed this year. Now, this information is confirmed by the Florida Agency of Healthcare Administration. The situation is particularly dire for those with pre-existing conditions or disabilities. Now, these individuals often face additional challenges in securing employment and affording the necessary medical care, making it even more difficult to maintain suitable housing. As a result, many seniors end up on the street, their health and their well being further compromised by exposure to the elements and the lack of basic necessities, medication that you and me easily obtain from our pharmacies. Guys, we are so far past our crisis stage. There are no easy answers to the question, what's next? The struggle for many is affordable housing and care. The elderly homelessness exposes a critical gap in the availability of affordable housing and long term care options for our aging. Now, guys, here is a stark prediction. By 2040, reality is it's not that far away. The number of Americans aged 65 or older is expected to grow by 45% from 56 million today to 81 million in less than 2 decades, all across the country. The waiting list for subsidized housing and assisted living facilities are growing longer and longer, leaving many older adults in desperate situations. Many Americans find themselves reliant on Social Security, which sadly only replaces typically about 40% of their previous income. That requires you to cover 60%, the difference. And remember, 57 million Americans are employed by companies that don't provide any retirement savings plans for their worker. Furthermore, the lack of housing options is compounded by a shortage of long-term care facilities. Just like in Florida, 146 of those facilities have closed. This health aides and the nurses are leaving their industry at an alarming rate. Well, those who replace them are far less trained and qualified as the senior population grows. The demand for these services is far outpacing the availability supply. The shortage is driven by several factors, including low wages for caregivers, challenging or dangerous work conditions, and limited government funding for long-term care facilities and services. Guys, the experts in economics agree that consequences of this shortage are dire. So, a quick reality check. Do you think, write it down below, do you think we can recover? Please, guys, post in the comments below what your beliefs are about this situation. Seniors who are unable to afford private care or secure a place in an assisted living facility often end up in overcrowded shelters or worse, on the streets. All right. Now, without significant investment into policy changes, the crisis of the elderly homelessness will continue to escalate, leaving a growing number of seniors vulnerable without the needed support. Analysis by the U.S. Government Accountability Office revealed that only 1 in 10 low-income workers between the ages of 50 and 64 even saved for retirement last year, compared to 1 in 5 in 2007. As people age, though, their healthcare needs tend to increase, leaving them to higher medical expenses that could quickly deplete any retirement savings and push seniors into financial insecurity or into ruin. And even with Medicare, the federal health insurance program for those 65 and older has significant gaps in coverage, leaving many of these seniors vulnerable to high out-of-pocket costs. Now, these costs can be substantial, especially for seniors with chronic health conditions requiring ongoing medical care and expensive medications. I would counsel when I worked as a crisis counselor. The financial strain of managing health costs can have a devastating consequence on many seniors. Many are forced to choose between paying for health care, housing, food, or other basic needs. Some forego the necessary medication due to the cost, leading to a decline in their health or potentially higher healthcare expenses in the long run, causing them to go to the hospitals and putting a taxing burden where the hospitals don't recoup any money because they simply can't pay. Now you see why I wanted to speak about this rising situation. All right, guys, finally, let's wrap this up with a call to action. Okay, guys, we have to protect our elders. We have to preserve our future. In a few years, most of you watching will experience the same concerns for your future. The plight of America's seniors is a stark reminder that the American dream, once a beacon of hope and opportunity, is slipping out of the reach for far too many people. As a country as affluent as ours, as the U.S., homelessness should not be acceptable outcome for our seniors, many veterans, our leaders, our government who voted themselves pay increases all the time seem to me to be shifting the responsibility into our shoulders. Funding inflation so quickly after a pandemic and the dream of working our whole life and retiring at 65, guys, it is gone. This call of action must start today. If we are ever to have a chance to repair our economy, I absolutely will not allow discussions about politics here. But please follow your beliefs. Make a difference. Their stories are filled with resilience and hardships and a deep seated desire to secure a fulfilling retirement should serve as a powerful call to action for all of us, all Americans. The time for complacency is long gone. The well being of our seniors is not a partisan issue, it is a human issue that demands a collective response. One more call to action, if I may, guys. Hey, if you continued watching this video to this point, you may find this video is extremely helpful and informative. Please consider sharing it. Guys, thumbs up and subscribe. Guys, thank you. Thank you truly for taking your time and your concern about this retirement nightmare in America. If you'd like to subscribe, it really does help the algorithm to find me and better promote the channel.